Howdy, country boy in France. And this is one of the reasons why. Nice food, fresh food. Victor Hugo Market, a farmer's market that's open 6 days a week. I think from like 6 in the morning to 1, something like that. Wonderful food. I mean, how fresh is that broccoli? Is that green pepper? Is the chicken thigh that I got? You can just tell it just came out of the ground. Not chickens. They don't grow those in the ground here. But even that, when I'm cooking that, I can cut it up with a fork because of the freshness. And at 66, I don't have that many years left. And also, you try to structure your life. What do I do today? Well, I like the idea. I go to the market and get food, fresh food. I like that. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to be on Netflix. I don't want to do social media. I don't want that. It's boring to me. And it's even toxic. A lot of that shit is toxic. I feel sorry for you young people, especially the girls that get onto this stuff and somebody, oh, you're fat. Oh, you're ugly. Oh, don't listen to that bullshit. Those people are troubled and have their own issues and they're striking out because they feel bad about themselves, I guess. And also, let me tell you this, it may be coming from another country. All the lies and fake social media accounts that are coming out of Russia or China or Vietnam or any other countries that are paying people, hey, let's divide America, let's upset America, let's get America to hate each other. We'll look better. If we get them to hate each other, we'll look better. So remember that. When I hear people say, oh, they did this on my social media, I'm like, who did? You don't know who they are. Let's say half of them are in America, or 75%, but some of the worst things said are somewhere else just to make people hate each other. We have to be smarter people and not let the internet destroy your humanity and your love and your self-worth and the beauty inside of you and in each of us. A lot of darkness and just hateful stuff on the internet. Part of that too is here's some people with a lot of money. Well, they don't want you to look at that. They don't want you to look at concentrated wealth. Like, hey, let's deal with that. We need more equality. Not so much poverty and not so much billionaires. They don't want that. They've lost their soul to the fever of greed. So they try to make you watch anything but that. And why do you think the media never talks about that? Media owned by billionaires and really rich people. The idea of inequality, which is hurting our communities, which is destroying democracy and humanity. No, don't talk about that. If you do too much, you get fired. So one good thing about the internet is people can go to different sites. At least now they can. We'll see what happens in the future. I know already your algorithm, you may want to see these people, but the algorithm may push you into, having to listen to Elon Musk or other people that control the levers and make you listen to them. And they'll tell you all this stuff about how bad the working people are, the poor people are, or racism or sexism, how bad white or black or Hispanic or Asians are, or how bad women are, how bad men are. It's a tough road to hoe. It's It's not easy being a human being or a good citizen. We have to help each other understand life and appreciate life and revere. Revere is a good word. So like I say, I'm almost 67. I want to revere my life and the life around me. And so, yeah, every 2 or 3 days I'll walk to the market and get fresh food. That's not available in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We have a lot of Walmarts. We have a lot of big stores you can go to. But you don't deal one-on-one with the people selling the bread. Other people are selling the meat, the fish, the vegetables, the cheese. And you're dealing with, this is a small business, and they probably buy from small farmers. What we don't think about is this gigantic, everything's gigantic. Who controls that? Who makes money off that? It's not the workers. It's not the farmers. Farmers are in trouble right now. I'm from Arkansas. We've got a really good candidate for the Democratic senator next year. 6th generation farmer. Also a lawyer, smart lady. If Arkansas wasn't so damn backward, people voting against their own interests, they think they're voting for a Christian idea. But Republicans cut taxes on the rich. It's the first thing Trump did, 2 different terms, and all the Republicans with him. When they asked Jesus, hey, Jesus, what about taxes? And he said, basically, pay your taxes and, pay God what you owe God, which means being a good person and loving each other. That was his biggest message. Love each other. Don't love money. Don't love money. What about my taxes are so high? Don't love money. The least of mine. I'm starting to learn it fairly well. Matthew 25, 39 to 40, or 39, 45. I don't know. I'm getting closer to remembering that. I don't have the best memory. When I was in jail, you came to visit me. Republicans aren't talking about that. They're talking about, they go on the streets and grab people and beat people up and throw women to the ground, and they throw them into this dungeon, whether it's a dungeon in America or a different country. You may be from Mexico. They're sending you to El Salvador. You may be from El Salvador. They're going to send you to Uganda or wherever. Cruel, unbelievable cruelty. Don't tell me about Jesus and then do these really unbelievably. History will remember how cruel America was right now. I hope we teach it in the schools because it's the truth. We don't want to look in the mirror. We're complicit. I guess collaborators are a little bit closer to the activities. The No Kings rally was a good start. 7 million or whatever millions of people coming out saying no more kings and no cruelty. And is it Leviticus saying treat the immigrant as if you would treat your neighbor. Love the immigrant as if you would love your neighbor. Where is that? What's the guy from Texas? He may be running for Senate. He's a representative. He's a really strong Christian. A Christian that loves people and loves God and loves Mother Nature and cares about the poor more than the rich. I'm okay with that, man. I'm not a Christian. I don't want to be, but his heart is, wonderful. I vote for him. Okay, so I'm in France. Partly because of this. A slower lifestyle. I can walk places. Oh, I was going to say, you may not own a house. It's okay. You may never own a house. You can own your home. You can own an apartment. We have to move toward that. We don't have to keep building these giant houses for everybody, but we need a place to live. We need an apartment like this. This is a studio. It could be a little bigger, maybe a bedroom would be nice. You see the kitchen behind me. I think I've shown you that before. I'm telling you, it's like 3 feet by 3 feet. Oh my God. And you have to have a sink in there and a drying rack and the stove, the stove. It doesn't have an oven, but it has a stovetop. And since you don't have a stove, there's a microwave. So the open space where you can cut up stuff, oh my gosh, but it's simple. Simplicity is fine. We don't need these gigantic houses or gigantic apartments, but a little bigger would be, more appropriate for a human being. But we can move toward that. And where I live, this whole area is about 4-story buildings. The average is about 4. There are some bigger ones, but most of them are about 4 stories. So you have a population density where there are some grocery stores and there is a library and there are some shops and cafes and bars because of the density. People living together. No, you don't have your own house and your own yard. I kind of miss having a yard and a garden and a dog in the backyard. I like that. And, a fire in the fire pit. That's fun, of course. I like that. This is more realistic for a planet with 8.2 billion people and moving up, and with resources that we need to conserve, and the oil and gas and coal we need to stop burning, and moving toward clean energy, which is available and decentralized. The sun shines everywhere. The wind blows just about everywhere. Wave energy, thermonuclear, not thermo, under the ground. What's that called? Heat energy from in the ground. And maybe hydrogen, and maybe, is it fusion? Anyway, there's different ideas on clean energy. And these nuclear power, that radioactivity, toxic waste that lasts for thousands of years. I mean, how can you do that? Create this toxic waste that you're giving to hundreds of generations. Hey, take care of this because, we created some bad stuff and you guys are going to need to take care of that. That's not moral. We can have good, clean energy. It'll be decentralized. You won't make as much money on that. That's the real problem. There's not the money. The people are making good money on investments in fossil fuels. And you can say the economy will collapse. Well, I hope it doesn't collapse. And it's not going to have to collapse if we just move. And the climate is going to collapse. It'll collapse anyway if we destroy the planet. And these superstorms come in and destroy all the infrastructure, which is one of the reasons your electricity bill is going up. One of the reasons your insurance rates are going up. Or maybe you can't get insurance like in Florida. Maybe California too. California because of fires, Florida because of hurricanes and flooding. And believe it or not, I'm a positive person. I'm trying to be real and say, man, we've got some real challenges that we're not facing. We've got a president and Republicans that are saying climate change doesn't even exist. Wow, that's criminal. That's a crime against humanity and Mother Earth, and they'll be gone soon enough, hopefully. But climate change is real, and we have to deal with that. France does a little better job than we do, except they have nuclear power. But part of the problem with nuclear power in Europe, it's usually by a river, and you need that water to cool down. There's so much heat, you need that water. Well, during a drought, they had to turn them off because there wasn't enough water. And I don't know if you turn them off, maybe just turn them way down, and you're not making the energy that people are used to. It needs to be more sustainable in so many ways. The sun is sustainable. The sun is going to be there. The wind is pretty sustainable. Waves are pretty sustainable. Heat from the ground. I don't know enough about hydrogen or fusion, or is it fission? I get them mixed up. But we're not putting the effort in that. When we had COVID, put a lot of effort. How do we solve COVID? We're not doing that for clean energy. Money, 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 money. We don't have to hate nobody. But if you're going to love people, you're going to have to be involved politically. If you say I love people, you're going to have to help create a community, a society that does not have all these poor people. And we will not have all these billionaires. And you billionaires that are, hey man, that's my freedom. Get over yourself. This is a planet of human beings that needs to work together, particularly on climate change. But if you have a nice a home, food on the table, you're not worried about paying your bills, you can see a doctor when you want. What do you want? How much do you want? What's your goal? You have to look in your heart and say, man, why am I have $800 million. I'd really like $1 billion. Or I have $2 billion. I'd really like 3. Because that's destroying other people's chances of having a decent life and having an input on decision making. This democracy helps push out decision making to the community, and we need good citizens for that. But if we concentrate all this wealth, they're going to make the decisions about who can communicate, what you can say, what your energy is going to cost, where you're going to live, how much you're going to pay, every decision, what type of food you're going to have, what the teachers will teach you or not teach you, freedom of speech, press, assembly, religion, whether those survive. We've been apathetic, and we've been led down the path. They want you apathetic. They don't want you active. They want to control what's going on. And if you're apathetic and ignorant and watching sports or worried about what your hair looks like, or they'll do what they want. Yeah, so when I walk to the market or back, there's homeless people. There's people begging. I saw a lady going through trash cans this morning. We need to bring them up. Why do we like poor people? They work cheap. We like low prices. And if that has to come from poor people that work for low wages, slave wages, or if that comes from another country that has no freedom and pays their people almost nothing, or maybe even almost keeps them in a slave-like conditions and pays them almost nothing, or maybe pays them nothing, just gives them room and board. But we get cheap prices. That's immoral. That's inhumane. That's not who we are. But we can be lazy. Oh, wow, this shirt is $2. That one's 12. I can't afford that one. I'll buy this one from the slave labor. Well, we're going to have to figure out how to create the society that loves each other and loves the earth. You could say taking care of the earth is selfish because that's our home. But I think there's a divinity in us and a divinity in this planet that seems so special. And the universe, we are special, and the earth is special. And we have to recognize that, appreciate that, and hold on to that, and protect that. Country boy in France. Oh, and let me say one more thing. This revolution that's happening everywhere about affordability, as they say, it's basically a quality of life. People's quality of life is dropping. And kids today won't buy a house if they can, maybe until their 40s, where it used to be like 29. So the quality of life is dropping in America, in France, in Germany, in Britain, So luckily, these citizens, these human beings, are saying, hey man, that's not right. This isn't right. We deserve a better life. I do, and my neighbor does, and the stranger does. So you can see this happening all over the world. And there are some dictators and authoritarian regimes and a lot of killing, and whether it's happening in Sudan, Ukraine, Gaza, etc. Terrible things happening. But the world as a whole is moving away from the madness, I think, and realizing, hey, maybe I can't be a millionaire, but I can have a decent life, and so can my neighbors, and so can the strangers, if we work together and aren't corrupted by greed and aren't manipulated by people teaching us to hate or be fearful. And trust this. Trust your heart. You know what to do. Worldwide, we know what to do.